What is good, people, and welcome back to a very, very, very special episode of the Board Shorts and Banter podcast. You would probably notice straight away, if you're watching on video, that Mr. Croggan is not here because he's currently away slacking, not doing anything important at all over in Australia. However, I have put in his place with more than three guests today. All right, last week we had the pro show. This week we've got something. I'm not too sure what it is called, but we're a bunch of amateurs. I wanted to call it amateur hour taken, right? If anyone's got any good ideas, just leave them down in the comments below. All right. But we've got Mr. Macca Morrice, we've got Mr. Chris Rendall, and we've got Mr. Reece Kyffin. Some of my favourite men's physique boys from around the UK, and I couldn't think of anyone better to get on for a chat because there's been a lot going on, boys, recently, isn't there? A lot going on. But before we get stuck into things, I want to go around and just give everyone a little bit of like a, because it's like a four-way chat. I feel like it's quite an awkward one to introduce because obviously you're not all like regular guests. So we'll just get a little bit of catch up from each of you. So, Mr. Reece Kyffin, hopefully you don't disconnect this time. How's things been with you, mate?
Sorry about that. But yes, all good.
You ruined it.
I did, but we're back. But yeah, all is good. Obviously, busy time of year in it for us boys. Clients competing, that sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm good. I'm all good, man. Hope you're good as well, mate. How are you? How's Tom Stockton?
I'm very well. I've been like ill recently, and I obviously not long got back from Ibiza, which was good fun. Illness and Ibiza is not a good combination. But other than that, I'm just like locked in now for the rest of the week. Nearly done with this dieting phase. So I want to get back to growing. Do you know, like everyone's like starting their little winter arcs and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I saw a video of Chris as well on Instagram, and I was like, Jesus Christ, he looks massive.
Can I ask what the fuck a winter arc is?
Oh, mate.
Because I just saw it pop up out of nowhere, and I was like, what is this saying?
It reminds me of being like 18, right? When you
I think it's like
into the gym and you're like, right, let's go for it. Let's like smash winter. Bulk.
Is that basically what it is?
That's what it is.
I think that's what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
I think like, do you know like the Gymshark lads, like 18-year-olds and stuff like that? I feel like they're all on their winter arcs.
Okay.
So the TikTok
doing like the old school
right?
like Audi pizza bulks, like I used to, like at uni, like the winter arc.
Hoods up,
Reece, good to hear you well, mate. Obviously, and Mr. Chris Rendall, how are you, mate? It's been a while since you've been on, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember what episode I was on, but yeah, one of the early ones, I think. But it's good, mate. Good. This off season's been going pretty well. I'm not the heaviest I've been, but I'm feeling the best, feeling the strongest. So, and coaching, ticking along, enjoying life, getting ready for a wedding next year. So, yeah, life's good.
That's a different kind of prep, mate, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I was like debating whether or not to prep next year. I think like the wedding's just going to be too much of a prep to go through, so I'm just going to hold off for another year. But yeah, things are good.
Oh no, he's not prepping next year. Oh, what a shame!
Damn it, mate! You're going to have to prep in a flipping shirt, aren't you?
What's that? Yeah.
You're gonna have to prep to fit in a shirt, aren't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be fair, I think everything's slightly loose. Like when I got my shirt fitted, I was like 100 kilos, so I need to be like properly on the bulk to fit into it. But yeah, no.
How long is it to your wedding now?
So like 7th of May. So that's like 6 months or something.
Oh, mad! Not long, mate. It's going to come around quick. That.
Yeah. I'm excited, man. It'll be good.
Have you for the prep? Have you broken down like the wedding planning in phases, like you would for a client?
Jasmine's done that. She's properly broken it down. I'm like taking a bit of a backseat role,
You just she plans it, and then it's like, oh, the card, beep, job done.
Beep. Just smile and nod, mate. But
the thing I'm excited for is the cake tasting, which is in 2 weeks' time. So I'm fully showing up to that. That'll be good.
That's when the winter arc begins, mate. At the cake tasting.
That is, yeah.
Right, Mr. Macca Morrice. I see you there, sat there vaping. How's things, mate?
I can't wait for 2024 to end.
Really?
I've just had a shit year.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a ride, mate, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously started prep January. Well, no, not end of December last year. Got to 6 weeks out, had a seizure in the gym. Then had another one 4 weeks out. Then tried to continue dieting. Bad idea. Came out of that, had almost like a 6 week rebound phase, and then had another seizure. And then I was still adamant I was going to prep. Tried to go for the end of the year, and my body wasn't just responding. So I just thought, fuck it off. I'll go again next year. And I've been ill for 3 weeks as well. But the only good thing is to come out this year. I got engaged, so that's been a massive plus. Thank you, mate.
Massive congratulations, mate.
So yeah, for me, I'm looking forward to next year. Obviously, I'll be prepping next year. Just waiting for show dates to come out realistically. From Two Bros, obviously tick off the regional, and then just go to as many pro qualifiers as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And just
praying for good health, mate.
Stand. What's that?
Realistically, though, obviously, not the year that you wanted for yourself, but I'm sure, regardless, you've still learned.
But you know what the funny thing is? I was comparing photos from last year to this year, like where I'm at from literally this time last year to this year. And considering I've been pretty much dieting for most of the year, obviously recovering from seizures, didn't train for 6 weeks, and I've had this illness for 3 weeks, didn't train. I'm actually pretty happy with where I'm at. Maybe just this week just gone, I'm a little bit on the flatter side. But I'm actually pretty confident in the improvements I've made. It's probably the most balanced my physique's been from front to back. Obviously, Two Bros is only 2 shots, so you have to your front essentially has to match your back, doesn't it? So in that sense, I'm pretty happy. And then just see where we land next year. Obviously, it's pro qualified. It's a step up from where I was in 2022, winning the overall. So it's just a case of seeing where we stand with the best amateurs. Hopefully, getting a couple of overalls, maybe see where I'm at for a pro card, and then get some feedback and go from there.
Mate, it's regardless though, where you're at right now, if you're physically still better than what you were this time last year, think about what you've been through, mate. That really does say a lot about you as an athlete. I don't think there's many people that could have
a few people have said that, but I almost see it as and I'm sure you guys are the same. It's if you go through something like that, you recover and you crack on with it. There's literally no point just sort of sitting in the dumps for how long. Okay, I'm not going to go to the gym. I'm not going to try. Because that when I do have a good year, hopefully next year, that will all be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
No, Tim, my coach, literally had to pull me from prep this year because I was adamant I was going to prep.
Yeah. Well, smart choice from him, mate. Because I honestly feel like it is the best
very
thing.
Smart choice from Tim.
It's just that dog mentality, But realistically, mate, it's all a stress test. It's all gearing you up and giving you tools essentially for the future. Because it's mate, it's probably one of the hardest years of your life, no doubt. One of the best, obviously, because you got engaged. But in the future, when you come up with other struggles, I think it
just all next year just all aligns perfectly well. I'll be able to drive again. I can go to client shows again. I don't have to spend a fortune on trains and stuff like that and show days. And I just think everything will just align a lot better for next year. And like I said, just take each show as it comes and just sort of see where we land. It's going to be a big year in terms of shows that I've never done international pro qualifiers. You know what it's like, boys, when you compete. It can be expensive, and obviously Two Bros ain't cheap. And and then obviously internationals. I think an amateur O is £250 to enter.
Yeah,
it's not cheap. So I just need to plan everything out, and then hopefully, man, it'll be good. It'll be good.
Oh, mate, you should just turn natty again and just do some cheaper shows like we do.
I just realised, I'm the only assisted one on this podcast.
Yeah, and you've also you have to walk through doors sideways, mate. So it's more than justified,
Yeah.
I definitely don't.
So obviously we know that Macca, you're competing next year. Chris, obviously you're not.
No.
Just got the wedding prep and the winter arc on the go. But Mr. Kyffin, what's the future plans for you next year?
Yeah, man, I'll be getting back up there. I'll be getting the dancing shoes back on and getting back up there. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Obviously, we did the end this time last year, didn't we? So a big 18 months out, and then probably start prep June, July time next year for typical September to November sort of season. I'll do PCA again. I love competing with PCA. I'll probably give a couple of their natural shows a whirl, to be fair, because that was Brad, wasn't it? Brad won their one earlier this year.
Yeah.
What an insane physique, man.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, so I want to jump in a PCA natty show. I'll probably do a WNBF again. I want to try the Two Bros Naturals at the end of the year as well.
I'm going to that. It's the one in Lille last year. Honestly, like the overall standard was nuts. I've never seen anything like it. And I feel like because obviously it's for an IFB Pro card, the standard is very good. Obviously, they've said about their drug testing being wider protocol. I don't know how strong that is personally. Like, I remember Tyler Mannion saying about it. Obviously, the vice president of the IFBB saying that it's a 3 year. You can be so like if I was to be natural for 3 years, I could go and compete naturally. I know
That's
they're
ridiculous.
Yeah, and this is the thing. So I think they are. It's a new thing for them. It is under constant review. And I presume it will go. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to have to probably. I imagine it will be like a 7 year, like kind of like what PCA did. PCA said you had to be natural for 7 years.
I thought PCA this
lifetime,
past year had a blanket rule of just never, because I think
Yeah.
I remember reading the rules about it and it said you must have never touched anything ever. I think it's WNBF that's 7 years.
No, WNBF.
The thing is with PCA, wasn't it? It was random testing though, wasn't it?
What's that?
PCA was random testing though, wasn't it?
They tested the winners.
Yeah.
See, that's weird though. I think top 3 should get tested. Really, if you get in the podium spot, top 3 should get tested in any federation. I think.
Yeah, because obviously, if you don't come top 3, it's like, well, it doesn't really matter if you're assisted or not. Well, actually, no, it does. I think to make it easier, everyone should just be tested.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But I presume it's the money.
Yeah,
that's one thing I do like about the WNBF is obviously the polygraph test. It's a pain in the ass, like in terms of like organising it all, and obviously it's an extra expense. But to me, that does make a much more level playing field. 100%.
Yeah.
I think WNBF
did it all on the day, didn't they? They just tested on the day, which I think is probably a mistake. Like because I get stressed doing a polygraph test. I don't know about you, but you just don't know if you're gonna set off with whatever reaction, right? So I think next year they'll probably put that like at least a day before. Hopefully.
It's also like the fact that you could just go and take Superdrug after you've been tested.
Yeah,
literally. Yeah,
and then just jump on stage.
Yeah, to be fair.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. I got second at the Supernaturals last year in my class. I didn't do a polygraph because I got an email or a text the night before, which was when my polygraph was booked, and it said they'd had enough samples. I don't need to do it. So I was like, "Sound, no worries. Saves me 60 quid cash. Take that."
That's not fair.
And then obviously got second, and then it was just like I just started watching the show, and then I drove home. It was like I didn't get tested at all. Nah.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. Like, if I was in third, yeah, I mean, if I was in like third or fourth, I would be like, I'd want the guys above me to get tested. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't get like a urinalysis or anything like that, but I did do a polygraph.
I did one in Dubai, so I thought that was the reason why I didn't get polygraph tested at the Supernaturals. But I think it takes so long to do the polygraphs. Like in Dubai, they were doing it like a week before the actual show. So I think WNBF the UK tried to put all the polygraphs the day before, and it was just like too much. So they were just like, we're just going to randomly do it with a bunch of people. I think that's what they did.
Yeah, I remember going for mine, and it took a good few hours, like sitting down in a corridor, and it's like you couldn't leave because you go there expecting it to be like an hour maximum, so you don't really take the things that you need with you, like your food, enough water, yada yada yada. And then like I remember just being sat in that corridor for a good few hours, and I was like, it's just that extra stress because it's like I need to get my meal in, I need to get my water in. I can't leave this spot because someone else is going to take it, and then I'm just going to have to wait longer. It wasn't ideal, but I feel like there's definitely. I feel like the popularity and the WNBF, even just other natural federations in the UK are still in their infancy.
Yeah,
if you're not it still feels like that anyway. Yeah. So I think it's going to take a while for there to be big changes and make everything super smooth. But I honestly think the PCA is going to like head that.
Well,
I think
I think it's. I
have it,
don't
like,
think. Maybe it's not a hot take, but I don't think UKFB will be around much longer.
yeah.
Shots fired.
I've heard some things. The way like they went from 20 shows down to 5 regionals or whatever it was, like the way they're slating other people, like other federations, it just doesn't sit well, does it?
Yes, I mean,
I think PCA, like they'll probably over next 2 to 3 years probably have like 10 natural shows, maybe even
Probably.
more.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, and
I
it's
think
gonna be-
they'll run away with it. Obviously,
Yeah.
WNBF will do very well as well, but yeah.
Yeah, there's one thing that's definitely not enough. Like I feel like one of the arguments was like with the UK FBA reducing the amount of total shows that they have throughout the years, because, and I do see the validity of it, is to prevent natural athletes from doing too long of a prep. Like, if you'd like, doing the first regional, then you do the next one and the next one and the next one. It's like, okay, well, I'll just go a bit longer to the British finals. And then like me, you end up prepping for like 32 weeks and like, it, messes you up. And so I can see that. But then equally, it's like, I feel like there's just not maybe enough shows still.
Yeah. It's
You want
almost
to
like
give a selection of shows to the athlete so they can pick and choose when they want to compete. And because at the end of the day, it's not like the federation's making you do 20 shows, is it? If you choose
PCA, like
shows,
this is it. PCA have British finals at the end of the year, and then people pick where they want to go.
exactly,
Yeah. It should be on, if the athlete is being coached, it should be on the coach, obviously.
I just feel like it's a bit of a cop out answer, and also like they did mention alongside that they want to look after their athletes. Well, that's fine, but don't put athletes on at like 10, 11 o'clock at night.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Do it
obviously
every 2
because
days.
it all kicked off, didn't it? Because obviously the WNBF went on to like 1 a.m. or whatever it was.
But the thing I liked about WNBF was that they came out and said about it straight away.
Yeah,
UKFA didn't do that. They never have.
Yeah. It's I said this in a previous podcast with like Josh, like for the WNBF, like that is the biggest show that they've ever had. Yes, hindsight, they should have had it across 2 days, but like everyone makes fucking mistakes. It's just a growing pain, and if anything, it's a good sign, because it's like, all right, yeah, we've outgrown our shoes right now. We need to size up, so they just need to distribute it across 2 days. And I think
people forget it's like it is a business. It's gonna have like teething issues every now and then.
Exactly. Every single business has growing pains and issues, So yes, I'm sure you've experienced the Macca with your board shorts and whatnot, legacy.
Oh yeah,
little things that you run into, you have to change up.
We had numerous issues when we first started. Sending them to like different countries, them just getting lost in the post and not giving us any, like, just no information at all. Having to refund customers and just lose a pair of shorts. Like, there's been loads of little issues. But yeah, you're right, mate. Like, it is just teething issues, and you get through it.
Going back to the shows,
we still.
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
Hang on, yeah. So I don't know if that was me just then, but carry on.
I was just going to say, going back to WNBF, do you not think it would be, like, because it is growing like quite quickly, even over the last couple of years, do you not think it would be beneficial to do a qualifier? Obviously, they've got the novice and first timers show. Do you not then think they should do like an open qualifier and then like a British finals like PCA do, rather than just one big open finals at the end of the year?
I think
I could see that working.
They should
even
do,
if you look at PCA now. Obviously, PCA initially had like the pro cards were handed out at the British or the Universe or the Worlds, I believe, and now they've actually got open pro qualifiers as well, where you can go to Germany, you can get a PCA pro card or whatever. I think like even that, like for WNBF, like hosting pro qualifiers as well would obviously just make people choose regionals around those times, which is then going to lessen probably the amount of people all on one show day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's ways around it.
Yeah. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Josh made the suggestion of doing like a WNBF Scotland, WNBF England, Ireland. I think that would maybe be a bit too much. Like, I think they should kind of run it like how they have it in the US. Yeah, as you say, like just different qualifiers, like a different show name, which will lead to the Supernaturals. And they could have 2 or 3 of those across the year, and it's just going to condense things down on the show day, or run it over 2 days. That would be the easy solution as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly think just 3 shows: a novice and first timers, a qualifier for the finals, and then that the finals are going to be like, it's going to be a smaller show, but it's going to be a quicker, more ran show, like a more efficient show, and that means you can also have the pro show as well. Those pro athletes should not be going on, especially with their entry costs, at 1 a.m.
Yeah, it's like Kez was ill as well, and he was on at 12:45.
Yeah, so
and obviously, like, I was helping him with his pose, and I was like, "Oh, like, give me an update, mate. What's going on?" And he was like, "Mate," he sent me a photo, and he was just literally lying down on the fucking floor.
Yeah, I went up to him, and he was like, "Hello, mate. How's it going?" I was like, "All right, yeah, I'm staying away from you."
Honestly, I was chatting with him, and he was in a bad way when he I think coming to the end of it, poor him.
Fair play to
That's
him.
why everyone's ill.
Because
spending time with Kez on that day.
Because he's a very like he's a very emotionally driven. Like, I know, like, he is like a victim to like stress. It really gets on top of him, and it affects his physique as well. So like, I feel like even him doing that day was like such a good lesson for him to be like, whatever it is. Like, I'm here, I'm doing it, and that's probably like, again, armed him with some tools to, like, you know, for future shows, just calming himself, his nerves and stuff like that, and just proving to himself. So
I think
fair play to Kez, mate.
I think Kez has always had digestive issues or like abdomen issues as well. Like from like I presume it's his GI tract. And I think he experienced that when he was ill as well, which obviously doesn't help.
Yeah. But anyway, boys, let's move on. I've got some topics, all right, and I think you guys are some good brains, some good minds to chat with us about. And if anyone's been living under a rock, I'm sure you would have heard about the most recent situation with a certain Mr. Jeff Nippard and is it Mike Van Wyke? Okay, did any of you boys listen to the or watch the Fuad Abiad podcast, Bro Chat?
Yeah, I do.
I've seen a few episodes before. I've watched a few episodes before, but
I don't watch it religiously, but I'll tune in like every now and then.
Yeah. Okay, got you.
Like Drake's ex-bodyguard or something like that.
Yeah. So he's like Drake. He's obviously like a personal trainer at Pure Muscle and Fitness, and then he's like Drake's ex-bodyguard. But do we have an opinion on it, boys? What's your thoughts of everything that's kicking off? I'm sure you've all seen the videos and whatnot of like Greg Doucette and whoever else talking about it.
I just think it's that stereotypical nature of guy on steroids picking on someone that's clearly one in height a lot smaller than him, and is completely done it when Jeff Nippard's not expecting it. I just think it's just a really dick move. It's just not. It's like you just don't go and do that to someone.
Especially
he called out your training. Like, it's not that deep.
Yeah,
it's really not.
Especially as well. I was just going to say, have you seen the CCTV footage that's come out now? Like, where you can see, like,
they've actually rolled out the CCTV footage.
Yeah. I won't bore you with explaining what it is, but essentially, like, Jeff's just on the cable. Mike walks past. Jeff finishes, goes over to him, and he's like smiling almost as if he's like, "What's up? Like, what's the issue?" And then that's when he just gets like jabbed in the throat. He goes over a bench, so he's like goes over a bench and then falls back as well. So it's a bad situation, mate, and it does not make what's his name, Mike, look good at all.
There was I in the video. Obviously, it's like very brief, but there's like a fucking a rack, like where you rack a barbell, and it's got like the kind of like the spikes on it. Imagine if you just straight in the back of the skull. You know, if you just fell the wrong direction, literally a few inches over.
If you look at the CCTV
like that.
Look at the CCTV footage, because you'll see actually how far he gets launched. It's like at least a good couple meters.
Even
it's
on that
ridiculous.
That small clip, it looks like he gets launched.
He gets properly launched. It's a shame. I express my views on Instagram, but like, there's nothing that excuses that.
Even I saw a story from Josh Bridgman. Don't know if you lot saw it. Where he basically called when Josh was training in Canada at that same gym. He said how he basically like walks around like he's a shit. He doesn't speak to anyone. He's a right like moody cunt. And he basically Josh just called him out on it as well.
It's a shame.
He seems like that. It's just like a big man.
Yeah. It like, really paints that stereotype.
Fuad put a story out where it's like, I'm not going to drop my friend. It's like, no, you don't have to drop him, but you have to call it out. You can't just go around like throwing people around the gym.
Yeah,
you can't pat him on the back for being a cunt, can you?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, what was you going to say, Chris, as well?
Yeah, I think it's a shame because like there's a lot of bigger guys who are not like that, but for anyone outside of bodybuilding, that's just painting the stereotype of an angry bodybuilder and
Yeah.
just going to push people away from it completely, you know? So it is such a shame, I think.
Like,
And
do you know,
he's got a lot to answer for, I guess.
Do you know Martin Ford? You know Martin Ford?
Yeah.
He's one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Exactly, yeah.
He's so
He's
like
tattooed,
humble
right?
and just mate, he's covered in tattoos. He's huge.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know how tall he is.
7
But
foot.
I think I spoke to him at an expo, like just as he was walking by, and he's just really nice. Like, gave me like 5 minutes of his time.
Patted you
You
on the
feel
head.
sorry for all
Yeah,
these
literally, just like
Yeah, you feel sorry for all these big guys who have like tattooed now because everyone's going to be like looking at them like, "Are you going to hit me?" Or and it's such a shame,
Well, that's the thing. It's gone onto like news channels as well, isn't it? Like in the US, so it's literally getting pasted everywhere. So it's not just like the fitness community, but other sports are going to be seeing it. And as you say, it just paints a bad picture and like a stereotype for guys that are either that size or guys that are on gear and the roid rage stuff again. And it's like, it's not a great thing for the sport. But at the end of the day, it's only one bad situation really.
I swear something like that happened in the UK earlier on, right? There was something like some sort of assault in a gym in the UK earlier this year, but I can't remember.
Right.
Well, I don't recall that.
Was it to like Mr. Freshwater or something? I heard.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, wasn't it? I mean, I guess it won't.
Funny enough,
I mean,
he just won his PCA Pro card.
Yeah, funny enough, he won his pro card even though he put a first time in the show. It wasn't a first timer.
Yeah, it's interesting. That was a PC. I was just trying to think. It was a PCA show that he knowingly put that guy.
Yeah.
That's weird how that works, isn't it?
I don't think they know who. I don't think they know who the coach is. That's why.
Yeah, interesting.
Because in that situation where a first timer goes on stage and they're not a first timer, I think the coach should be banned as well.
Yeah.
What's your going back to like the situation with like Jeff and thingy? Like one interesting like discussion that was going on there was like everyone is kind of kicking off at like Fuad and whatnot for like those guys that are standing in Mike's corner. What's your opinion? Because basically the consensus is like, all right, well, if Mike's done that, why the hell are you supporting him? And like Fuad's like response is basically, he's my friend. I know he's a good guy and whatnot. Everyone makes mistakes. That doesn't mean I'm not going to kick him off the podcast and stuff like this. If I was to drop him as a friend, I wouldn't have a lot of friends because everyone makes mistakes. What's your boys' opinion on that?
I respect it, to be fair. I respect it because at the end of the day, like if you put yourself in Fuad's shoes and one of your mates did that, you're not going to go, right, I'm never talking to that guy again. And I'm not going to have him on my podcast. You've just got to take the hit with him. So if you're going to keep him on your podcast, there's probably going to be less views on the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, or more. You don't know.
Yeah. Obviously, when I guess the pressure there when you've got like everyone like on social media that's like looking in, they don't have a connection like Fuad and Mike have. So like I can completely see where Fuad's coming from in the sense of like I've had friends that have done dumb shit. Would I, I'll tell them, mate, that's fucking dumb. That was completely out of line what you just did there. I wouldn't drop them at a hat just because they've done something, fucking wrong. So I can completely see where Fuad's coming from. But he's like catching so much flack now because everyone's like, "Oh, you're supporting Mike." He's like, "No, he's a friend. Like, obviously, you're going to support him."
It's a problem with social media, right? It's all black and white. So as soon as Fuad puts his own perspective, which I agree with as well, people are just immediately jumping to conclusions that he's in support of what he did, but that is not the case. He's just back him up as a friend, and I imagine he will have a private word with them and say like, listen, that's not acceptable, you can't go and do that. But that's not going to mean he's just going to not be friends with him or cancel him, which I think was another point he made about the whole cancel culture, which I'm totally against that as well, because that's just as kind of toxic. You
see it all the time with YouTubers who make a mistake on camera and immediately like you see all people just cut ties with them and it's basically their cancel culture, which I don't really agree with. It depends on the nature of like what, like obviously if someone's been out as I don't know, like an actual racist or anything that's sort of like really negative, then obviously there's discussions about that. But he just needs to not do it again. Essentially, like obviously within a couple of weeks, people are probably going to forget, and there'll be something new to talk about or whatever. So,
I mean, I unfollowed him because I thought, what a bell end, but
yeah, he needs to
I
drop
never
his
followed
ego,
him,
man.
and I love Jeff Nippard.
He just needs to apologise.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the way I see it is just one of those things where everyone's like, oh, roid rage. It's like, to a degree, yeah, like if you're a bit of a dick, which he doesn't come across as the most positive, most, approachable guy in the world. If you're a little bit of a dick, and then it doesn't mean you're a bad person, and then you start taking steroids, it probably just makes you a bit more of a dick.
Yeah, it
you know what I mean?
Your emotions.
Yeah, like it brings out like who you are, like a little bit more. Doesn't mean you're not tolerable, not a good person. It's just like if you are someone that can make sometimes emotionally irrational decisions, act upon your emotions. Probably when you take then steroids, again, can't talk from experience, but when you take steroids, maybe that just is enhanced, So doesn't necessarily mean he's a shit fucking guy. It's just obviously he's not probably thinking out in his, I don't know. Yeah, it's just one of those things, man.
Lost his head.
That's it. But yes, so I'm glad we covered that because I feel like a lot of people probably want to hear us talk about that. So there we go, boys. But moving on, another development. I think Josh spoke about this with the lads in the previous podcast, but I also want to know your lads' opinions because obviously anyone listening, we are all men's physique boys through and through. Shorts till death. And obviously we've just had the men's Physique Olympia, right? Because open bodybuilding, classic physique, Chris Bum said all that stuff is just not interesting at all, right? It's all about men's physique.
Yeah.
So the results of the men's Physique Olympia, I'm sure Macca can probably reel them off at the top of his head, like the top 6. Because I'm not going to lie, like I pay attention to it, but I'm not like
there was Terry, Ali, Banks, Emmanuel, Edvan, and then Corey.
Right. Okay. Macca, what are your thoughts on the results of the 2024 Men's Physique Olympia?
I thought it was fair, to be fair. I thought Ryan Terry is the most balanced from front to back. He wasn't as conditioned as the year before when he won it the first time.
Yeah.
But he did say he came in fuller for this show. I do really like Ali's physique. I think once he gets a little bit more detail in his back and a little bit more width in his back, because his midsection is ridiculous. I don't think I've ever seen a midsection like it. Erin in third, I literally said this before the Olympia happened. I said if he can actually bring the look he brought when he won it, he'll be extremely competitive. But he just hasn't refound that look. He's always running a little bit flatter on stage. What I found weird though was that Edvan was 5th, and they said he's on the cusp of vergily being too big, and his arms, like they said that his arms were big, but then they said Corey Morris's arms are too big, yet Edvan is a lot bigger than him.
Yeah, way bigger.
That's just like a personal discrepancy where obviously someone's favoured another physique over another.
Is Edvan the guy with the black and white shorts?
Can't remember what colour shorts he was wearing, to be fair.
Fifth place, yeah?
Yeah, I think he's Brazilian. But like, if you look at Edvan's physique from a few years ago, his waist was so small. And now you can see it, like, it's getting wider almost. But yeah, I thought the judging was fair. I didn't really disagree with anything they said. I think Emmanuel could have actually beat Erin, to be fair. I think that's the best Emmanuel we've seen. He was actually full, whereas before he's run a little bit flat. And with like, for me personally, Corey Morris is my favourite men's physique guy in the division. I just think for him, once he starts bringing up his legs just a little bit more, because Tyler Mannion said that he has brought up his legs since his Arnold Classic win, and he downsizes his arms a little bit to obviously just favour the judging. I think he'll do extremely well as well, because his midsection is really nice as well. And he's got that almost like wacky cartoon physique-esque. I still think he lacks a little bit of like back detail in the back. I don't know if you guys agree. I think the way he poses is quite rigid as well in that back pose. But I think Ryan Terry for me isn't like my favourite men's physique, but I can ultimately see why he's won 2 times in a row now, because he's just so balanced. There's not really a weak point in his physique. His back was his weak point, and now it's like his strongest body part.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, when he turns to the back, it's lights out.
Yeah, it's
crazy about that.
if you saw Ali on his own, in my opinion, like he looks so balanced and he looks like he hasn't got a weak part. But then when you put him next to Ryan and they turn around, that's when his back gets exposed.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I
trying
agree.
to say? Like, because I was looking from the front. I think from the front, personally, Ali takes it just because
Yeah.
midsection. Ryan's midsection is wild, but
Mm.
like even just this year, I was like comparing because I've always preferred like Ryan's midsection over pretty much anyone. But I was looking at this year and I was like, I think Ali's actually like
It's
taking it
so
now.
sharp. Like the obliques are ridiculous.
Yeah.
The way they cut into his physique. Like I think Ali's abs are way more symmetrical than Ryan's. Ryan's almost like they separate and there's like a small gap between the middle and the belly button.
Yeah.
It's more like
but his abs are
aesthetic.
insane. But I think Ali. I think if Ali, I think Tyler said about Ali needs to bring up his upper chest and his back width, and then he'll be extremely hard to beat. And I can see him doing that within 6 to 7 months, and then it'll be interesting.
Mate, I honestly thought Ryan's abs looked a bit off this year.
Did you?
Yeah,
I think he said that himself.
They just didn't look cut. They didn't look as deep. And as you say, there's that separation down the center, and it just especially stood next to Ali. As you say, Ali's got probably the most insane midsection I've ever seen in my life. But like stood next to that, I think it really just made Ryan stand out, but possibly not in a good way. But like you say, when he spins around to the back, his back's just insane. There's no one beating that.
I
Like
think there was
overall
some
physique.
difference.
Sorry, Chris.
Reece. No, I was saying I think there was some differences between prejudging and finals. I think Ryan was a little bit flat coming into prejudging, and then he got better. I think at finals.
But then, like you say, when he does pose from the front, it's funny because the whole top six, besides Ryan, has that angled shot, and then he's just got that power pose, hasn't he? But I think he just looks so round in the arms and delts and chest and bubbly.
It's so fickle though, because like now you see like a lot of amateurs trying to do it, and it's just like you're not Ryan Terry.
Yeah,
yeah. Like I'm seeing people like 6 foot plus trying to put both their hands on their hips, and like the gaps are too big in between.
Yeah.
Like
if you
need to be like a shorter guy if you're going to do it. Like Diogo hits it perfectly well.
Yeah.
Because he's shorter.
Didn't he hit an angled shot earlier this year though, and it looked absolutely insane? Didn't he twist it?
He did it the Arnold when he was up against Corey for first and second.
Yeah, he looked fast then.
But yeah, Diogo wasn't there this year, and I think he would have been in top 5 because he always is around that area. So I do think even this year, it wasn't a clear winner. Like Ryan was very good, but Tyler I think said himself that it was a lot closer than what people think it was.
Yeah.
I think next year is going to be a really good Olympia for men's physique, especially.
Where did Hendrickson place?
He didn't compete.
Did he not compete? I thought I had a feeling he hadn't done.
No,
but
he said he's working on bringing up his back.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, because if Ryan's there with that back, then obviously he's got to do something, isn't he?
I don't think Brandon Hendrickson's back. Like when he competed last year against Ryan, man, I wouldn't even have Brandon Hendrickson top 6. Like I didn't think he was that impressive, and I love Brandon Hendrickson. I thought when he first started winning the Olympia, I thought he was really good, but over time he just hasn't got that much better.
Yeah,
I was actually looking back at. Oh, sorry, Tom.
No, carry on, mate. Carry on.
I was just going to say about Brandon. I was actually looking back the other week at his previous Olympia winnings, and then it's gradually over time, it's like his waist has just got slightly thicker and slightly bigger, and it's just thrown his proportions off. But a few years ago, the shape was silly.
I agree.
I've lost it a bit now.
What direction do you lads think men's physique is going?
It changes all the time.
It changes so much, and you can see that in open as well. Obviously, open bodybuilding now is going towards more shape, but in terms of men's physique, it seems like they're starting to go for more of I guess Ryan Terry's setting the standard, really, isn't he? I
just don't think there is a. I don't think there's a direction. I think it literally changes show to show. For example, the Arnold Classic this year, Diogo was more similar to Ryan Terry. Corey Morris won.
Yeah, I think what I feel is happening is the physiques that are like extremely cartoony are like getting almost penalized versus the ones that are a little bit more like well balanced all rounders like Ryan Terry are getting like rewarded. Like Corey Morris, to me, as sick of a physique, like he's wild. I feel like he's too wild. Like he's too
brought up, I
cartoony. The
think
delts.
if Corey brings up his legs, I think he'll be within that top 4 mix.
Yeah.
I think that's his legs are just too small in comparison to the other top 5, and it just hit. It almost makes it, like you said, like his upper body look worse because of how wild he is from across that clavicle line. When you look at his legs, it's just like
Yeah, it's crazy because I feel like subconsciously legs have always been judged in men's physique. Like whether you realize like when you see like an incredible physique on stage, like in terms of the upper, but then the legs are fucking awful, it's never a good look. And I do feel like that has, whether or not it's like not officially been in the rules, I feel like that has been subconsciously judged on stage.
They said it at the end of the last year, didn't they?
Yeah,
they said are like we are judging legs more now. But this is the other end. Then people go and train legs like 2-3 times a week. It's like your legs don't need to be massive. They just need to be in proportion and balance to the rest of your body.
Yeah, just actually train them hard. But I feel like that rule, even in the IFBB, is now trickling down into like WNBF.
Yeah,
because I know that they do critique like the overall silhouette as well.
Yeah, for sure. You can see it from the Supernaturals, the pro show finals. Like the guys who placed top, there's a good balance from their top to lower bodies.
So yeah, if you're listening, boys, and you want to get into physique, do not skip your legs. Train your legs.
Like just quickly, like if your legs like have a really nice vastus lateralis, like the out sweep of the quad, it's going to make your waist look smaller. So it's going to improve the silhouette anyway, especially with like tight fitted board shorts. So it all adds up.
Yeah. Do you know what you should do, Macca? You should make like a mandatory rule that you don't sell any board shorts below a certain size, so that like people have to train their legs.
To be fair, they are all 16-inch in the leg. Now they are anyway. They never used to be.
Okay. So have you shortened them up?
Yeah. So like we took material off the bottom. We made the waistband super stretchy. But recently we found that the waistband we were using was almost like folding over sometimes. Like
right.
So we've changed that basic back to the material we used to have, and then we've got a new material for the leg. So it's all like going to add up to aiding the physique rather than anything being taken away from the physique. Obviously, like it's really hard with shorts because like some people come to me and go, "Oh, they're too big," or "They're too small," or normally it's the bigger side, and like, "Oh, they're a little bit loose," and then I see other people wearing, like when Reece wore them, they were really nice and tight fit to his legs. So you can't please everyone with shorts. Like it really is just a case of like try and cater to the majority. So that's what we've done with the new material we've got now. It caters way more to the majority than it has done previously.
Yeah.
Whereas when we first released the shorts, it was almost like if you train your legs, they'll fit you. If you don't really have great legs, they're not going to fit you. Whereas now it almost caters to most people, and that's literally all we can do. Essentially, you can't please everyone. I mean, like, I went like crazy over like trying to like make these shorts perfect. It's impossible. It's so hard.
Because obviously physiques vary so much. But like, have any of you boys ever had your shorts tailored?
I haven't personally, no.
No.
This is what I don't understand. You can go and get your shorts tailored for like £10-15 and they fit perfectly. If your shorts do not fit right, get them fitting right. Go to a tailor and just be like, "Yo, it's probably a weird thing to turn up with some board shorts." But like, probably like, "Why are you tailoring these?" You know, used to do like suit pants.
I would just take them down to literally like a local seamstress. Like
this is what I'm saying. Yeah, go to a seamstress.
It doesn't have to be like some fancy tailor shop. Just take them down to a local seamstress who does that type of thing. Like where I live, there's literally 3 in town.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so cheap, and they can leave it with them for a few hours, and then your shorts are fitting nicer. So if you're going on, you're buying your legacies, get them. If they don't fit right, don't send them back. Go get them tailored.
I think what it is people don't know. I think people don't know what to ask for. Yeah, like they don't understand like what they're actually like. Especially if you're competing for the first time, you don't really know how like your shorts need to fit or like what to ask for so that they fit better. I think that's probably more so what it is. But yeah, guys, if you're buying shorts and they you buy them, you really like the colour or whatever, and they don't necessarily fit you, yeah, either maybe swap them out for a smaller size, or, which is probably going to be a lot easier for you in the long run, just go get them tailored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, like, because I get a lot of people come to me at 2 weeks out trying to buy shorts. I'm like, you probably should have given it one more week.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Fair. So, boys, we got quite a few questions. So, I put up a question box, and we've got some interesting ones. We've already kind of touched on some of them, but you keen to get stuck into some of them?
Let's go for it.
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay. Right. So we've already answered this one from Sheer McCool. Thoughts on Mike Van Dyck choke slamming GOAT Jeff Nippard? We've already covered that one. All right.
Well worded.
Yeah. Beautifully worded. Poetic. From Mr. James Linford _ for someone with a 9 to 5, how would you use holiday when trying to prep? Peak week? ? So, like, basically, when is the right time to use holiday?
I think in a peak week, if you can work as less as possible, it's going to be better for your physique. Like, obviously, it's not always the case for a lot of 9 to 5 jobs. Any jobs in sort of like the hospitality sector, healthcare sector. But if you can try and take like maybe work the Monday and the Tuesday, but by Wednesday you're completely off from work, so you've got like 4 to 5 days just to relax.
Yeah.
Because by that point as well, by the Wednesday, normally cardio is out, well, it should be anyway. Steps are down, etc., and you can just focus on getting your food in, relaxing, digesting those meals. It's going to aid in a much fresher look, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally
Definitely.
agree.
I think it all depends on what job you do. Because realistically, if you're a button masher, a desk monkey, it's not high stress job. It's like you could even go up to like maybe 3-4 days out and still work, and then just have like a chilled 3 days before. Like maybe when you start like loading up on food, then have some time off, right? Because you got to get more meals in. You want to be relaxed. Versus if you're a labourer on a building site, you probably want a week off before you compete. Just kind of rid your body of all stress and fatigue.
Funny story. I had a client compete a few weeks ago now. He did like 4 shows, and he was a landscaper, so his baseline steps was 25k.
Oh, I've competed against him, mate.
What
I know what you're about. Yeah, I've competed against him. Yeah.
So like he gets ridiculously shredded, but mate, I've never seen a physique so hard to manage.
Really?
Like he was like, oh, like what's the plan going for peak week? Like how much is food going to change? I'm like, mate, with you, like you've been checking in daily since 4 weeks out. Look how much your physique changes on a daily basis. Like your food sometimes is 800 carb, sometimes it's 550. Like it just bounces. And it's so hard to manage. It's really hard. So yeah, if you're a labourer, anything like along those lines, if you can try and take a couple of days off, it's going to do you the world of good. Because he was still working throughout the whole week.
Yeah,
really.
Because he's self-employed, so he couldn't take the time off.
Jesus Christ! Fair play to him, mate. For wanting to compete as well.
On the holiday.
I think that's a good point, though. I think. Oh, sorry, Chris. Were you saying
go ahead,
something?
Reece. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, though. Yeah, if you're a labourer, take the bloody week off if you can. I think most other jobs, like I think, if you're competing on a Saturday, for example, maybe from Thursday onwards, but if you have the time and the holiday to take it from Wednesday onwards, and then after the show, take Monday off, take Tuesday off, take a couple of days. Because I remember going back to work on the Monday, like when I did my first prep and I had like a real job. And mate, honestly, I went back to work on the Monday and I hated my life. Honestly, it was the worst thing ever. I just needed 2 days to just chill, relax, eat, do nothing, because it's a lot of, you get a massive adrenaline high and you're still riding that high for a couple of days. And then you get a dump as soon as you go back to work, don't you? Because it's
where did you work?
Oh, Tom, don't you start this.
Where did you work?
I worked at the flower wholesalers.
Yeah, I love it. So you couldn't, but good. I guess the plus there is you can't really binge eat on flowers, can you?
No, exactly, mate. But when you're working with everyone that's in their 40s and 50s, and there's cakes and fucking whatever else they bring out every hour,
you probably looked like you were getting the flowers ready for your own funeral, mate.
Yeah.
That
felt like it.
Yeah,
honestly.
Jesus.
But no, I think a couple of days either side is a good shout.
I would recommend the day after, because like me living in Scotland as well. There's usually a day of travel, like especially men's physique shows. You're going on at 9 o'clock at night for some of these natty feds, so you're going to have to stay the night and then travel the next day. So you're always going to have to take the next day off.
Yeah. Right. So next question from Mr. Kieran Staples, which is someone familiar, isn't it, Reece?
That is indeed.
Very good competitive season, by the way, as well, Kieran. Congratulations, mate.
Yeah, smashed it.
Of course, a relevant question from this man. Go to post-show meal/treat. Cherry Bakewells or custard donuts are the correct answer.
Mate, Kieran, you are a wrong un. That's all I'm going to say. He was like, oh, mate, yeah, can you grab me some custard donuts? Sorry, what?
That's so mid.
Custard donuts.
Cherry Bakewells. Does he work in that flower shop as well?
He must do.
Do you know what? I don't think you can honestly beat just like a fucking solid burger after a show.
Facts.
I'm not a massive burger guy.
This is where you're going wrong, Macca.
I'm a Domino's guy. Just get Domino's in.
I'm a nice Italian meal, pasta.
Yeah, like
some
pasta,
red wine.
I wouldn't mind like just pasta.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris is more of like a reserved guy. Like he'll actually get like, I'll be there like slamming down this greasy burger, and like I'll see on like Chris's stories, like out for a nice little dinner. He's dressed up nice. I'm still there like board shorts on, this minging hoodie that's covered in tan, just
fat hippo burger.
Hey. Well, I was in Hubbox.
Literally.
Yeah, I think a good brownie or something like that, and then a juicy burger for sure.
Oh, sweet then savoury. Yeah, I remember at the WNBF Supernaturals, I was in the crowd. Literally, as soon as I got off stage, I was like, "Cool, fourth, whatever." I was I'm more excited for this now. Was I sat next to you?
Yeah, you were sat next to me.
My face was just like inflated from
yeah,
whatever
literally.
it was.
Like, this guy was eating fucking, I don't know what it was. I think it was Cookie Box or something, wasn't it?
No, it was in the south, in where I'm from in Torquay. There's this place called Big Bakes Bakery. If you go on their Instagram, they've got like a couple 100,000 followers because their stuff is just ridiculous.
Yeah,
and it
Tom
was like
eating it and his face was inflating.
A cookie pie, literally. It's just unreal. So yeah, cookie pie, then a fat hippo. That is the go-to.
Oh mate, fat hippo is banging. I had that for the first time after not even my own show, one of my client shows, and I was like, I need to get calories in. Went to Fat Hippo for the first time. Best burger I've ever had. Hands down.
Peanut butter and jelly one is good.
Good shout.
Yeah, it is very, very good. Right, so next question from Mr. John B _fitness. Who's the Mount Rushmore of men's physique? I'm assuming you boys know what Mount Rushmore is.
Yeah.
You know, like the face with all like the presidents. So basically, who are like the legends of men's physique?
Are we talking?
I'm not necessarily who's the best, but who's just like pinnacle people, you know?
I might have controversial views on this.
Okay, so I'm going to say, do you know what? Ryan Terry. He just has to be. Ryan Terry's up there. Not every president has been a good person. You know, everyone's made their mistakes. But then I'd say Jeremy Buendia.
Yeah. He has to be. He's 4-time Olympia.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has to be. And then, do you know what? I would say, controversial, Steve Cook.
I thought you were going to say that.
Get out. You've lost it.
No.
2000.
Do you know what? Sorry, Steve, you're out, mate. Guzman.
No, fuck.
I feel like Guzman brought so many eyes to men's physique, including myself. I wouldn't be on this you boys wouldn't be on this podcast if it wasn't for Guzman.
I agree. Yeah,
same. Same.
Are we going by physique or what are we going for? What are we going by?
No. Like this is just like people that have had like big influences on like men's physique, not just like the sick physiques. I'm assuming this is what I'm taking anyway. Like because you don't judge a president on his physique, you judge a president on their like influence.
Do they have to be a men's physique athlete?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this guy's... I'll say mine. This guy's competed as an amateur. He's not a pro.
Right, go on.
Hart McGrath has to be on this list. On this...
Mount
Rushmore.
Okay.
He has to... Like, you talk about eyes. This guy, like... Mate, I remember watching him when he had 2K subscribers.
Yeah.
And, like, he was just covering it non-stop. And now, like... Obviously, he sold it to Alex Toplin. And obviously now they're doing the Men's League Radio. That channel is actually Hart McGrath's old channel.
Is it?
Yeah. He sold it to him for 10 grand.
Mate, I only just started watching Hart McGrath this year, and then he sold his channel, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
mate?
it's a shame, but like for me, like from a personal perspective, like he would be on it just because like the amount of coverage I remember watching. Like I remember watching back, like it was like COVID times. It was like 2020
Yeah.
when he first came about, and he had like 3K subscribers, 2K, and then he's obviously built up to. He got his channel, like he deleted his channel and then came back and made like his old channel had like 80K subscribers. Right. He deleted it, came back, and then he had another 110K.
Jesus.
And then
Fair
he
play.
obviously, yeah. But I agree,
Okay.
Ryan Terry, Jeremy Mundy are definitely on it.
Yeah.
But not Guzman.
Not Guzman for me. I didn't watch Guzman, to be fair.
Chris, who are you saying?
I agree with Guzman. I know he's like not the men's physique athlete, but I think he's brought a lot of young guys to, or maybe. How old are you, Macca?
27.
Oh, so you're the same age as us, but yeah, I think he's brought a lot of guys to the scene and stuff. You know.
Don't get me wrong. Like I used to watch his prep content a while, but I'm thinking of it probably from a competing perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just go with like influential people.
I do agree.
Yeah. Reece, what are you saying?
I think I'll have to agree with the four that you boys have kind of concocted. So, yeah, Ryan, Jeremy, Guzman for sure, and then I think Hart McGrath's got to be there. As I said, even though I just started watching him this year, like he put out some banging content and he had a lot of eyes. Yeah. So I think that's a good four.
He covered everyone as well. There were so many people
he was brilliant. Yeah,
and I didn't even bloody heard of half of them.
Yeah.
And like you see them and go, wow, that's a sick physique.
It's a very diverse Mount Rushmore, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's people who have inspired men's physique, and like for me, that's who's inspired like my love of it.
Cool.
Like every time a Hart McGrath video would come on it, and like the energy he would produce is just like it was like next level.
So we got this crazy physique.
Yeah,
look
like,
at this guy's
it was so good. Do you know who else is really good? Do you know who else is really good? Who's not like mostly men's physique, but he does other shit as well? Is AJ Kelly Robert.
Yeah.
Man, he's
absolutely
so good.
Wild.
He's
crazy.
So good. Yeah, I wish he had a YouTube channel.
Yeah, he just does like crazy Instagram stories, doesn't he?
He flies to every single country.
Does he?
Mate, like the amount of shows he goes to a year is crazy.
Jesus.
I think he said something the other day where he's been to like 35 shows internationally this year or something stupid.
That's mad.
And he covers all the live streams as well. Like he puts the live streams live on his phone. You don't even need to pay for live stream because he's literally updating his story every minute.
Legend. That's a legend of the game that we all need.
Yeah.
Right. We've got a deep question from Mr. Ian Talbot-Balfe. I'm going to save that to the end. This one's directly from Mr. Reece Kyffin from Kieran Staples. When is Reece's professional debut as a hybrid athlete?
It's been done.
It's done.
It's been done. I competed in the hybrid games. Did you boys not see?
I saw that on your Instagram.
You got first place.
I didn't see that. What was it? Like a hybrid competition?
Was it a group thing that you did?
It was a group thing. So I had a few mates that needed one more person to join their group to do it. It was when I was judging the Mr. Devon show down here, like a local bodybuilding show down here, and they were like, Reece, come here before it started. So I go over and they're like, right, mate, we need you to do this thing. And I was like, the show's about to start. I was like, yeah, put me down. I'm in. And then it was like, we had to do a 1 rep max squat, a 4x100 meter relay, a 3 rep max military press, a 4x400 meter relay, a 100 kilo deadlift for 10 minutes straight, like counting reps as like a team who could get the most reps.
Jesus.
And then 4x1200 meter relay. I've not run that far since fucking PE.
Did you feel like a bodybuilder when you were running?
Oh yeah. Oh man, we smashed it though. We absolutely smashed it. We won, and we won by a fair chunk as well. So I think the lifts carried us through. And then I think probably, you know, the explosive power that you've probably got from the years of lifting, I think that kind of helped us with the sprint and the 400. And then the 12, we were just like, hey, even if we lose, I think we've still won. So it was good fun. I genuinely had a great time. It was fucking awesome. It was a nice change to bodybuilding shows. Will I do it again? We'll see.
When you've hung up the shorts.
When I've hung up the shorts, potentially.
Maybe I'll do it with you. I'm built for running, me. I got these legs, mate. They're built for running. Right. So there we go. His professional debut's already done. He's not actually competing next year anymore, and he's going to be doing high rocks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, from Mr. Bailey _Doggett, an avid listener of the show. I've met this boy, many times. An absolute legend. Favorite bits of kit to use recently. So what are you boys vibing with at the moment? For me, straight up, it is the Atlantis pendulum. It's beautiful.
Lovely.
There we go.
I like the I can't remember the name of it exactly.
You don't have any good kit down there, mate. Not down in the southwest.
Hey, zone's popping, mate. Zone's popping.
To be fair, zone's good.
Yeah, there's that Panatta. It's like a chest supported unilateral pull down. Mate, absolutely weldy bit of kit. I love that.
Nice.
We have nothing in Scotland. Like there's a few really good gyms, but they're like sparsely situated all over the place. There's like one up in Inverness. There's one there's like two actually quite annoyingly kind of close to me, but just a bit too far. It's like 40-minute drive, and I'm just like, I'm not taking an hour and a half out my day to travel to the gym. So I go to extreme, and all the gyms like knock off hammer strength. It's all like Chinese made. So you get like either absolutely brilliant pieces of kit, and they don't have names, but you get either absolutely brilliant pieces or absolutely horrendous ones that
They don't have names.
They just don't have names. It's just like they've got like some of the bits of kit have got the hammer strength, like a sticker just placed over the like Chinese name of it. So, yeah,
I thought you guys just had the Dinny stones and that was it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Up in the Highlands, it's pretty much just log tossing.
I already know Macca's. It's just some kind of like lateral raise variation.
I barely train with delts anymore. No, mine's a D-handle cable press.
Okay.
Or a hammer strength incline.
Which cable machine? I know like Life Fitness cables are beautiful.
The one at the gym I'm currently training at it's Atlantis.
Okay. Decent.
But yeah, like for me, like I'm one of these guys that's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So like I've always done like D-handle cable press, costal fly, clavicular fly for my chest, and then like maybe like 2 machine-based presses like that are payloaded.
Yeah,
and it seems to work. So,
well, you've got a big enough chest and delts, mate. So it must be.
Well, we'll see next year.
Cool. So we got we've got a few more questions. We'll fly through these boys. From Mr. Rye, I'm assuming it's Rye Rigby. Who is your biggest threat for the pro card right now? I don't know if he's saying your as in just me, but I mean,
there's so many.
It's not like I'm the front runner anyway.
I don't know everyone in the world, unfortunately.
Everyone. You never know who's going to turn up. These Brad Sedgecocks that come around, you're like, Jesus Christ, who the fuck is this guy? No one's ever seen him before. Prime example, So everyone is a threat. That is who.
Tell you what, mate, it's you versus you. You're the threat.
Yeah.
There we go. It is you versus you, Ryan. So remember that, mate. All right. Jenny, that was me last season. I was just like, cool, whatever. Obviously, like, you pay attention who to potentially competing against. I was just like, every day, I was just like, cool.
Do you know what? Like, I want people to think of me. Like, if you turn up to a show and people are like, oh fuck. That's like the attitude I want to have. So it's literally that, like you versus you. Like,
it's the Delt. No,
it's the waste.
That's his nickname, Macca the Delt Morrice.
Corey Morris is called a Delt King, so I can't take that.
Yeah,
you've got kind of a similar physique as well, like tiny little waist.
Similar. Just he's got like 50 pounds more muscle.
Yeah.
He's got 50 pounds,
and he's actually got abs.
Right. Next question from Mr. Jake James Fitness, aka the nicest man in the fitness industry.
It's lovely.
Everyone answer. Define what true men's physique means in 2024. Changing criteria still, ? Kiss. What is true men's physique, boys?
Oh, fuck It's so hard to say, like, because it's all personal preference. For me personally, it's the small waist, the wide clavicles, because that's what Jeremy Medea brought. That's when he first like exploded onto the scene, and he almost like paved the way for a lot of those guys. I think it's balance, it's symmetry, it's proportions. It's so hard to say.
I would say,
because what is balance? Balance can be tiny waist, wide shoulders, full chest, or it can be maybe not small waist, maybe like Ryan, completely balanced from front to back, very aesthetic still. Like, this is the thing, like for me as well, like if you've got balance across all your areas, your physique will look 10 times almost bigger. Because there's no detracting from any of those weak body parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think men's physique is like that category where it is more of like a men's beauty pageant to a degree.
Yeah, it is.
You have to be good looking, and it's like you have to have the physique that the majority of guys would say that they would want. And I think looking at it, Ryan Terry is that, because he's just, again, he's not too cartoony. He's just from front to back balanced.
Yeah.
So I think good looking, balanced physique.
That's what
doesn't need to have like crazy body parts, because I actually think that's working against guys at the moment. I think it's just balanced front to back, good looking, and Ryan Terry is that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there was a little time where it was kind of moving towards more the freaky side, but now
I remember when it was like Raymond Edmonds and
all
those guys, like they were just huge.
I totally agree. And now it's kind of like more the sort of balance side of things. So as you say, like looking at that Olympia lineup, it's just like Ryan Terry. You just look at him; he's got it top to bottom, and nothing particularly stands out too much.
Yeah.
If you're looking at physique, and there's like, there's something just a bit off or disproportionate. It looks crazy, but I feel that takes away, and I feel like that's the direction men's physique is.
If you look at that Olympia top 6, this is the other thing about men's physique. It's meant to be an attainable look.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think any of those top 6 are so far out of attainable. I think they're all very much like, you could be that. Like, you got to remember, a lot of these guys are 35, nearly into their 40s. Like, they've got a lot of skin in the game. So, like, I don't think, for example, myself, like, talking for myself, like, I'm 27 now. I don't believe by 35 I'd be that far away from those types of physiques, personally. Whether that's as a pro or whatever, I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is that I believe you could go to the gym even without competing and obtain a similar physique if you had the same amount of work ethic, dedication to your training, your nutrition, your diet, etc.
Yeah. I would say, balance head to toe, front to back, however you describe that. Small waist. You've got to have the midsection as well, right? You've got to have the abs in. And then I think it's just like, as you say, it's preference, isn't it? But aesthetics and like flow to the physique, just so it's all nicely put together and it all just fits. And then, as you say, it is always the good-looking bastards that end up winning, isn't it?
Team Handsome, baby.
Team Handsome.
That's what it's all about. From Indio.wit, Macca going for the pro card qualification next year. Yes, obviously that's there's nothing else you're going to do.
That's not me saying I'm going to win a pro card before anyone gets on my back. I'm just going to see where I stand. This is literally as simple as that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be undeniable. My time isn't now. It's just a case of finding what works, like, and seeing what happens.
The time is now. Let's go. What would you say? This doesn't make sense. What would you guys say? It's just I can't read. What would you guys say are the most important exercises for men's physique athletes?
Whatever
all of them
for you.
Do you know what? This is the thing, right? My opinion on this is exercises, magic exercises, the best that it doesn't fucking exist.
No.
It is it's a culmination of how you structure your training. It's like, Buddy Rows are the best for this. No, they're fucking not. Who are you to say that like this one exercise has led to this result in your physique? What if it was like the culmination of this exercise that you're doing, that you're promoting, but also this, and this? So it's not an exercise in particular that's going to transform your physique. I feel like it's how you structure your training. So I feel like the better way to kind of frame this question would be, what is the best way to structure your training in order to create that men's physique look?
It's like when people say like, deadlifts are the reason why people's erectors are so big, and it's like, it's not.
No.
like just because it works for someone doesn't like. It's all like it is biomechanics as well. Like, how does your body move? How does it work? How does it move within a movement? Like, how does it feel? Does it like if you can't contract a muscle or you can't feel that muscle working, 9 times out of 10 it's probably not engaging enough. It's not being stimulated enough. It's like people say like, oh, the old school bodybuilders, they didn't do cable rows. It's like, well, everything's progressed since then.
Yeah. I think again, it just comes down to you as a person. Like, how does your physique look? Where are your weaknesses? Where are your strengths? And then, as you say, take a look at how you're actually executing the movements that you do have. Like, I'm always a big fan of slowing it down a little bit, adding some pauses in that long range. And it's like, if you could have the same program for 12 months straight and probably still make great progress to your physique by keeping. Would I suggest doing that? Probably not. You'd want to switch it up a couple of times, but it's looking at your physique, identifying your weaknesses, identifying how you're executing the movements, and perfecting that as well as you can to get the growth and the result that you need. Like, what Tom needs is going to be different to what I need, and everyone else listening to this.
I think as well, like that's a good point, because like I feel like so many people change their training around so much, like when it doesn't need to be changed. Obviously, if nothing's working, you're not seeing a response, then of course like swap things out. Like Tom was saying about structure, like it's very important. Like, do you, like, for me personally, like I don't do an isolation before I press. However, I can see a benefit in doing it, but I haven't done one in so long. I've just gone straight into pressing and warmed up through that way, and that's what works for me. So I'm going to keep doing it. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just what works for my body.
Yeah. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I think it's one of these things. It's like it is so subjective, and like when people have an opinion on things, like I just take everything with a pinch of salt, because you look at all these studies and stuff, and they're done on most of them. Like if it's a meta-analysis, and obviously that's maybe a bit different, but it's done usually on a small group of untrained individuals. So it's like you can kind of take the anecdotes of what's working, but it's just so subjective based on the person. That's why I think it's just important to collect your own data and think, cool, is this working? 9 times out of 10 for like people who are just getting into it, they don't need something super specific as well. Like just get a baseline program which is going to frequently target most muscle groups, and then see where you land going into the first show, and then make the sort of like necessary improvements. If you're like thinking, cool, right, I really belong in men's physique, then add the structure which is going to sort of benefit that class or that criteria.
That's a very good point.
Yeah,
it's training for your class and your criteria, not something else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like one thing to touch on a lot of like, okay, so like talking about like majority people, like areas that I see lagging, because obviously if the person that's asked this question, maybe for instance they may have some of those areas. Upper chest is like whenever guys sign up to coaching, like, yeah, I want to compete, it's like usually the main areas that lag on people are arms, upper chest, and then like back, because I feel like the majority of bodybuilders, 9 times out of 10, one of the weaker areas is the back. And I think it's just a hard muscle group to grow, because it's quite technical, but it's also like a lot of people struggle to connect with their back as well. So I'd say like if you're wanting to create like the best kind of men's physique possible, obviously it's so individual, because you may have a good back, for instance, but you can never have enough focus on your back training to create that V-taper. Upper chest work, the majority of your pressing work or fly work should be towards the clavicular, building that top line thickness, and just spam the hell out your delts and your arms. Literally, that's definitely the areas that most people lag, I think.
I only do now actually I've got flat pressing, but last season I just did incline pressing. That's all I did. But it's like people think if you're just doing incline pressing, you're only going to be targeting these fibers in the top part in your clavicular region, whereas you're still targeting like the lower fibers. And as you say, that's where most like guys struggle, is like building an upper chest. So for me,
normally the stronger your upper chest is, the bigger your chest is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it is because it gives you that 3D look essentially, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think they brought out some
like upper like incline pressing.
Yeah.
I think there's some studies that have been done not too long ago as well, actually, and it was like comparing the difference between in terms of pec activation of like clavicular fibers versus like pec major, and it was shown that when you're doing a flat press, like you obviously stimulate the pec major, like the bigger muscle group, but you don't get much clavicular activation, so the upper chest fibers, versus when you do an incline press, you pretty much get just as much like lower chest activation, but then you're also lighting up that upper chest. So it kind of doesn't make much sense to not do incline press, if you know what I'm
Was it
trying
like
to
a
say.
slight
You may as
incline
well.
as well? It was like a very slight. It was a slight incline, wasn't it? And it was like that just hit the whole
It's like
chest
30 degrees or something.
really nicely. Well, this
Yeah,
is something that I found though. Like I know you were touching on the back, and a lot of people struggling to connect with it. One thing I've always struggled with is my chest. So after I competed last year, I made sure to strip my chest training back a little bit, and I was like, I'm just going to pull the weights back, drop the ego. And it was that case of going, right, I need to focus on building my connection to my chest before I start overloading and all that and all that stuff. And honestly, like dropping the weights 20-30%, slowing it down, and intentionally trying to feel my chest work, like, and then continuing that and then overloading with that same approach to training. Like, I'll see. Obviously, you look at yourself in the mirror every day, don't you? And you don't really notice any change. But then, like, I'll flick back and I'll see a photo of me in a vest from last week, and I'm like, "Fucking hell, I've got a chest now." You know what I mean? Whereas I'd never had that before. So I think as well, it is again. I'm just trying to stress the point of look at how you're training. Don't worry too much about the movements you are doing, but how you are doing those movements, and that's going to have a massive impact on whether you're progressing and developing your physique in the way you want to.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Right, boys. We'll finish up on a pretty deep question. Pretty thought-provoking question from Mr. Ian Talbot-Balfe. I'm sure you boys probably know of who this man is.
Yeah.
And it's actually a lovely question. It's not a horrible one, which is nice. Makes a change. What's happened to you, Ian, mate?
Not a cancel culture question.
Yeah, literally. We told him he had to wind his neck in and stop getting us cancelled, So, what thing could you achieve in life that would make you die happy? It's like, what is the one thing that you could achieve in your life that you could be like, you know what, I can die happy now?
I've already achieved it.
There we go. I think you're going down the same line as me, mate.
Family, mate.
Yeah.
I was going to say exactly the same thing, yeah.
Like, mate, having kids is honestly the best thing that ever happened to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You think you know what's important. You have kids in my case, twins that are like completely dependent on you, and that's all the motivation I need. Like, I don't need motivation to go into the gym anymore. Like, there's a reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm trying to provide a better life for them, for my partner, etc. So for me, obviously, on a selfish standpoint, yes, it's to turn pro. It's to build almost like a career out of bodybuilding, but also alongside that, is going to help benefit my coaching, my posing, etc., and that's all going to help benefit them. So like they're the main source. Like, so I'm very much. If I died tomorrow, I'd be happy because I've got 2 beautiful kids, got a loving partner. That's like so many people overlook like what's actually important, and it's normally like the simpler things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I feel like when you're young as well, it's very easy to get straight onto that hedonic treadmill. It's like you could say, oh, I'll die happy when I've won an Olympia. I'll die happy when I've got a pro card. I'll die happy when I've got, X amount of money in the bank. But like realistically, if you actually look at like, if you look at people and, that have achieved more than you, it's like they always want more. They always want more and more and more. I don't think there's any one thing that you can really gain in life where it's like, do you know what? That's it. I'm done. I feel like it's probably a case of like the only thing that you can't replace in life is your family.
Like, look at Chris Bumstead. He won the 6-time Olympia. He's had a kid last year or so, and now he's done. To me, that there's a correlation there between he knows what's important now.
Yeah.
And he's not going to put his health at risk until
his prime example is a young guy. He's overachieved for his age by like fucking light years, and it's a case of like now, he's got everything that you'd want. All the things that we're trying to achieve. Like he's got all of that and more. And I think he's fully aware of the fact like, no, cool. Like, what I've got right now, this is important. Providing for his family, and so yeah, I feel like my answer would be similar to you, Macca. If I could look back and be able to say I've got I guess you could say a successful family, a happy family, and provide for them when that time comes, then I'd be like, cool, I'm done.
Yeah.
You boys agree?
I totally agree as well. Yeah, I was thinking about this recently. I was kind of getting deep on or what is like my sort of like core value? Like why have I got this goal of competing? Why have I got this goal of trying to build this business? And it just all kind of relates to family or other people in a weird way. Like I think the older you get, the more you realize that as well. You know, as you're kind of growing up, you just selfishly kind of want to get money and stuff, but you kind of realize how important these things are. And obviously, like I'm just at that transitional stage of my life when hopefully next year we'll be starting a young family. You know, so yeah, I think for me that is super important, and hopefully to inspire others as well. On inspire a few others. Doesn't have to be tons of people, but just, you know, set other people on the right path as well.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, for me, it would be, obviously you boys have got a couple of years on me, right? You guys are kids and thinking about kids. Just putting it out there. Nah, so for me, it always reverts back to family.
Reece just wants a Ferrari. He wants...
Nah, for me, you know, it's the same thing. It reverts back to family, and it is getting to that point where not only like the family that, you know, myself, my partner, and, you know, when you have kids and all that stuff, it's not just looking after them, but also, you know, siblings, parents, and being able to look after them and provide for them. But also just having a positive impact on people that have listened to what I do, watch what I do, people that I've worked with, you know, that can go away and go, actually, do you know what, you know, working with Reece or chatting with Reece or whatever it was, you know, has left a positive mark rather than, you know, a skid mark. You know, hopefully it's left a positive mark instead.
I like that.
Yeah, that's it for me. But as you say, it's funny, like as you get a bit older, it's like, you know, it's not about that. It's actually, you know, enjoying the smaller things, the little things that necessarily you don't actually even have to pay for. You know, that's what growth and enjoyment comes from, I think.
Yeah.
I guess it's not what you gain in life or what you achieve. It's it's the impact that you have on other people. I guess it's what balls behind. I just want to leave behind a sick physique, right? And that's
going to be in a coffin.
That's going to be in a coffin, yeah. Board shorts on. You know, the 2023 Northern Champion board shorts on.
Hands behind the head, flexing your abs.
That's right. But no, I think that's it, boys. That is all the questions. We've been here for quite some time now, so we'll wrap it up there because you are busy guys and obviously got to crack on with your evenings. But lads, I just want to say thank you very much for joining.
Awesome.
Pleasure.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Yeah. And I'm sure whatever we call this, whether it's amateur hour, like we'll come back and do it again if you're all keen for that.
Yeah, we'll do it again. That'll be good.
100%.
But until like when
amateurs.
Yeah, whilst you're amateurs, you know, when each of us like slowly but surely, like, you know, if we do get pro cards and whatnot, like you'll just get the boot though. So who's gonna be first? I don't know. Who's getting the boot first? I don't know.
Never know. You never know. That's the beauty of bodybuilding.
Yeah, but anyway, people, thank you very much for listening. Right, Reece, where can they find you?
Instagram, reece.kiffcoaching. You know, I'm here for advice. If you want coaching, posing advice, whatever, reach out, give me a shout. If you just want to have a conversation, if you fancy having a chat about something, my DMs are open.
Long walks on the beach, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Hey, mate. I might be moving a bit further into the Cornwall, mate. So, yeah, we more of that.
I love it. Chris, where can they find you?
Probably Instagram as well. You can just find me, Chris Rendall or Crendall Coaching on Instagram. I also run a podcast as well called the Natural Physique Podcast. So coming up to 100 episodes soon. So I'll need to do something special for that. But yeah, Instagram's probably the easiest way, and you can find. I do a little bit of YouTube and all that as well, and it's all in the link tree there.
Love it. Macca
Morrice _ that's it.
If you want to get some board shorts as well, check out Legacy UK.
Legend.
Facts.
Gear up,
they're banging.
Gear up for next season. If they don't fit, don't fucking send them back. Go get them tailored. You're lazy. Anyway, people, thank you very much for listening. Boys, thank you for joining me. Subscribe, like, all that stuff, because half of you guys, literally, we get like, 400, 500 views an episode now, and then 1,000 total across all platforms. What's going on with the YouTube? We've only got like 350, so subscribe. Stop being lazy. Thank you very much. Goodbye.